Hello, one and all, to today's stream. Before we get started, we would like to give a special thanks to the following people. First of all of our friends over in the Rogue Planet Games dev team, who make PlanetSide possible for everyone. Then we have our PSB organizers Reltor and Sergeant Mile, as well as Varunda, who has worked tirelessly on the back end of our stream overlay to provide a quality viewing experience. And then, of course, we have Zulfer from Sammy on Connery, who has made our map overview video. We have Liddy and Infills for producing images that make our stream overlays look brilliant. Maelstrom26 and also Ryder Anton from Unity, who have produced the PS2 Alerts website with images that have been pulled for today's stream. And then also we have Falco and Casey for producing the Outfit Wars soundtrack. And lastly but not least, of course, tonight's broadcast team has been brought to you by the Blood Raven Clan Brack. And of course... Who? What? And then also now for your daily dose of cringe and roleplay, ladies and gentlemen, I sleep like a baby. And I wake up every hour, crying every morning, and piss the bed. But you know what I found out, folks? Let me tell you. I've been getting a lot better sleep. Oh my god, that background noise. But yeah, no, I've been getting a lot better sleep since the Nanite Systems has been sponsoring PSB streams. Yes, I am a sellout and I am proud of it. Nanite Systems. I would have a hard time getting a nice night's rest and coming home from work. You know, brain busted open, neck busted, busted foot. And yes, it's a problem, especially when it comes to recovery, performance, immunity, and feeling less stressed. And cringing. Yes, folks, cringing is in fact a problem, but not when Nanite Systems is around. Sleep is everything, and I have now found the answer in the documents that I have received here from our friends over in Nanite Systems. I have found the answer to better sleep in a delicious, healthy cup that tastes like something your grandmother made back when you were 5 years old. Folks, it's the Dream Powder from Nanite Systems and is changing the way everyone sleeps. With Nanite Powder, you're getting more than just quality shut-eye. You're providing your body with sleepy vitamins and minerals like nanites, and more nanites. Nanite Powder is a guilt-free, sleep-inducing warm cup of organic, gluten-free, free-range cordium and organic salt, so especially from Salty Vets, with a added calorie count of 0 and also 0 added sugars. There's proof in the powder, my friends. After taking Nanite Powder, over 99% of people feel an improvement in the quality of their sleep, and 97% of them feel more energized the next day. And less than 1% of all users got their cheeks clapped after taking Nanite Powder. It's the good stuff if you want better sleep and better days. If you want Nanite Powder, subscribe to PlanetSide Battles for awesome perks like free delivery and 35% off your first month. Plus, you can pause or cancel at any time. Sweet dreams, folks. Nanite Systems, where it's not a bug. It is, in fact, a feature. And with all of the cringe out of the way, again, hello, one and all, to today's stream brought to you by PlanetSide Battles, the community-driven organization for all things PlanetSide inside and outside of the game. I am, once again, your host, Falco, and joining me, we have a bit of a broadcast team today. Again, as provided by the Blood Raven Clan, the Brack Clan. I don't know who these people are, but they're just here. So, introducing here, we have Trulius and Eskranox. And how are you guys doing tonight?
Oh, just fantastic.
Fantastic.
I'm just here for my Nanite Systems powder.
Oh, well, there it is. Nanite Systems, ladies
Sorry,
and
man.
gentlemen. Yeah, so we're going to have a splendid match today. We'll be getting into that in just a little bit. And, yeah, so with that said, we're also going to go ahead and introduce our honorary cameraman here, the one and the only, the TreeMan 01. Say hello to the crowd, Tree.
Oh, except for the other one.
All except for the other one. There you go. But yeah, so While Tree might not be necessarily on commentary duty today, he will be providing a third camera, so that way we'll provide you guys some additional point of view and perspectives throughout the match. Also, in addition, of course, Trulius will also be streaming his side of Planet's side today, and I'll be, of course, holding on to the main camera. And if we take a look at our game overview, as most of you are familiar with now, this is going to be a singular match scheduled for one fall or most territory controlled with a 45-minute time limit. A 20-minute pre-match phase is granted for each team of 48 members. Teams are denoted as Alpha or Red and Omega, otherwise known as Blue. Rule set on the Nexus is that Bastion fleet carriers are disallowed, Colossus tanks are disallowed, and construction is disallowed. For all Planetside Battles Outfit Wars streams, we will observe a 1-minute time delay. And with this delay, we will not show Warp Gate opener prep until the last minute of the prep phase. When we take a look at the bracket for tonight, as some of you may have already seen, Recursion won out against Vikings of Connery. They will be the ranked number 1 team for the championship match. But today, the other main event, the only other main event on Connery, is going to be FEFA, otherwise known as Ironforged Alliance, versus Unity. And this is going to be, for sure, I think, a pretty balanced fight, and we will be having a great match to watch. In terms of the map overview, I mean, a majority of you are already familiar with how this looks like. This is the Warp Gate that we see over here for both red and also for blue. And when we take a look at the neutral bases, it's pretty simple. We have 3 bases in the middle of the map. We have Bittergorge Garrison, which is a 3-point base, 2-minute 20-second fast cap, and you know, this has 2 double stacks and 1 center point in the middle. You have Granite Head Reactor, which is dead center in the map, 3-point base, 2-minute 20-second fast cap. Then we have Erzat Satcom Hub, which is the lobotomized tech plant, as some people like to call it. It's a 3-point base, 2 minutes 20-second fast cap. You got points on all floors for Erzat Satcom Hub. When we take a look at our home bases, we'll start off with Hydroponics Compound and Nexus Secure Substation, which is a 1-point base with a 4-minute capture. The point is held inside of a powerhouse. The lobby is divided into 2, splitting the actual lobby and the big stairs. Then we have Nexus Alpha / Nexus Omega, which is a 1-point base, 7-minute capture time. This is the longest capture timer throughout the entire Nexus continent. Then we have Argent Pass and Slate Canyon Hold, which is a base that houses the points roughly somewhat away from the spawn room, held together by 5 bridges. And that's basically, again, Nexus for those of you who weren't exactly sure what we're doing for today. So with all that said, yes, our matchup today is going to be FEFA versus Unity. As listed, FEFA is supposed to be Alpha, and Unity is supposed to be Omega, but we will go ahead and see if that actually turns out to be the case. Let's go ahead and start off. That is the case. Cool. Let's start off with FIFA. FIFA holds a 4-1 record with a ranking score of 1612. Their lead is Sir Jordo 25, with their home faction being NC. Their member count today is going to be 147 with a monthly activity of 75.51%. Their kill-death ratio on Outfit Wars is 1.22. Their headshot ratio percentage is 18.54. And they have averaged 6.20 or 6.2 base captures per match. On the flip side, we have Unity, which holds a very similar record, if basically the same record of 4-1. Their ranking score is 1514. Their lead is Patroclus. Their home faction is TR, and today they have a member count of 250 with a monthly activity of 48%. Their Alpha Wars kill death ratio is 1.15 with a headshot ratio of 21.45% and also a base capture per match of 6 bases. And that is basically the matchup for today. And so with all that said, guys, how are you feeling about today's match?
I'm feeling like that I hope it's going to be an entertaining match to watch. This is going to be a real toss-up. I feel like these teams could be very well balanced, or they could not. It really depends on how they're playing this day. They have a wealth of players to pick from and pull from. They've both played spectacularly in their previous matches. And as far as predicting a winner, I think it's anybody's game.
Trulius, what are you thinking?
I'm not sure. I did get to watch the recursion match that just happened prior to this one. Unfortunately, it was a little bit more of a wash than we all hoped, but I imagine these two are a little bit more even matched. This is the third and fourth seed, I believe, going into this together. Second and third seed.
Second and third.
So they should be a little bit more evenly matched. We should actually get a proper, enjoyable match, I assume, in comparison to what we just watched between the first and fourth seed.
Yeah, we definitely, we don't exactly like seeing Warp Gate matches. We would like to see this last for the entirety of the duration, which is 45 minutes. Just having played on Nexus, just to kind of poke your guys' brains a little bit.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Go ahead.
What would you say is obviously neutral base is important for the opener, but what are some things that you really think about in terms of opener? Because we usually see the whole thing of oh, you need a whole bunch of air for the opener. That's very much meta currently, and it seems like if people aren't getting Granite Head Reactor, they're going all in for Bitter Gorge Garrison. I mean, am I wrong with that, or is there, what else would you be thinking if you're FCing or platoon leading?
I feel like that's targeted. If I was platoon leading, I would probably be really focused on making sure that we come out of the gate with a strong air presence, but not over committing to it. Because that's the biggest thing here, right? Unless you're bringing just the cream of the crop pilots. 20 pilots not doing anything is 20 dudes not doing anything. So really transitioning from air to ground is the best part, probably the most important part. Right, you can win the entire air battle, but if you lose all of your ground points and don't make a good transition, it doesn't matter. Map play, I think Granite Head is a hot contender for many things. And Bitter Gorge, if we just kind of make it a numbers game, right? If you lose Granite Head, but you take Bitter Gorge, you can just go right back to Granite Head. You can still go into that fight. You're still welcome to go at it. If you lose Granite Head and you take Arazek and Bitter Gorge is still for contention, if they're on Nexus Secure Substation, you can't do anything. You're stuck defending. You're put on the back foot. Lattice lines are incredibly important, and map play is stressed very heavily here on Nexus. Which really that boils down to your leadership. How well do these leaders know how to read a map? It seems like very common knowledge. Seems like something really easy, but it's something that a lot of teams have struggled with. Hopefully that answers the question, because I already forgot what it was. Sorry about that.
Basically answers it. We're good.
Okay. Yeah. So at least from my perspective, I'd say that, yeah, the meta is kind of emerged as strong air, drop on Granite Head, try for a steal, ignore Bitter Gorge and everything that's connected to Bitter Gorge. Because that seems to be what's been happening more often than not. We see a lot more of the fights over at Zarazak and Granite Head on the southeast side. But what ends up happening is places like Argent Pass and Slate Canyon, which are my personal favorites to play on and also watch, they seem to be neglected a lot of the time, and we end up just seeing maybe a squad end up over there just to try and push it along every once in a while, where most of the fights come from the Granite Head Reactor into the Nexus Secure and Hydroponics. So I guess what I'm hoping for is to see a little bit more fight on the northern side. Seems to be whoever holds those three territories ends up winning the match 9 times out of 10. So it's gonna be curious to see if that's how kind of this goes. Obviously there's been some outfits that have come away with not having to be in control of air, but it's been few and far in between. That does seem to be the power. There's been, I think, was a Recursion that tried to do little nests of anti-air and then was able to still get some ground air to ground. And there's been a couple other outfits that have done that as well. So it's going to be curious to see if it is just going to be the air battle as we've seen on all previous matches, or if we're going to see something a little bit different. But setting up good spawns is always most important. Flying around if you don't have air superiority, trying to get to points doesn't seem to be beneficial. So similar to how you play in live, this is just going to be a little bit more targeted.
Is there anything that you guys can tell me about the teams right now with FIFA and Unity?
Oh man. Well, as somebody who's been around since before the start of Outfit Wars, Unity and FIFA is a really interesting thing to me because these are not necessarily the teams going into Outfit Wars are not necessarily the teams that I remember going from before, because both of these Unity and FIFA were smaller outfits, quote unquote, before this, and they both recruited pretty heavily pulling into this match. So you have these outfits that are flying these banners, but it's still multiple groups they're in. I know Unity did a really good job of pulling in people and going, come on, come in early, we'll get you trained up, we're getting ready to go. I don't actually know who all is playing for the Unity team, but I know FIFA has pulled, and of course I'm going to get crucified for getting this one wrong, but I think it's like FIFA, DPSO, I think they've got some Sokka pilots, they have some Fuwak guys. There's probably many more in there. It's kind of the state of Connery, right? A lot of these teams are kind of hodgepodges that you throw together, and it's like, hey, you come over here because I don't got enough dudes. But they're both extremely strong contenders in that format. Like, do not let that dissuade you. There's a reason that both of these teams are here. They've both taken it seriously. They've both put in the work to improve and work on where their weaknesses are. What I think is going to be really interesting is which team gets to start leading the dance. And what I mean by that is in a lot of these matches, one team gets to dictate the pace. Generally speaking, right? The team that's the most aggressive gets to dictate the pace. They're the ones who are going to go, no, you're not going to fight me over here. You're going to go fight me at this base instead. Okay, cool. You can go ahead and run this timer, but I'm going to go ahead and poke at your warp gate. And now you're going to have to come back and fight me. Neither of these teams seem like the type to be content to be on the back foot, so I'm really hoping for just some all-out brawls going, all right, you guys want to take this, but we're going to take this. Not a game of chicken so much, but who's going to dance around the map the fastest and light the most fires? And I could not tell you. I'm very excited going into this match.
Trulius, what you think?
I've had the benefit of playing both these teams. I know how they play. I enjoy both of their styles. They're very much about the multipliers, the force multipliers being armor, being air. We've seen both of these teams bring quite strong air games. We've also seen them, bring in quite a bit of armor that is beneficial to this map, of course, which is not terribly, as this is definitely not an armor-friendly map. But as Eskernaut says, they're very much expected to see strong gameplay against one another and definitely staying on the offensive. Both teams are very good with that. So going forward, I'm really hoping to see them both trying to attempt that and hopefully not fall back to the back foot and continually to attack together against one another.
Cool. We have about a minute 30 some left. Nox, was there something that you wanted to say before I rudely interrupted you?
No, I wasn't rude at all. I have a habit to ramble. What I'm interested in to see... Wow, I butchered that. Whatever. We got 30 seconds anyways. What I'm interested in seeing is which of these teams can transition the smoothest from air to ground. Both of these teams, from my understanding, I was on live earlier, Brack pulled a bash, and so I got to see some pilots from both of these teams. They both seem like they've got a pretty strong air force going into this. So me personally, I've been obsessed with the air game lately. I love seeing the pilots. I love seeing the things that these guys can do because it's beyond my scope. And I want to see what these guys can do. But the other most important thing when it comes to pilots is knowing when to get out of your ESFs. And I don't think either of these teams are going to have a lack of that. So I'm going to shut up and I'll let you get to the important and cool things here.
The important and cool things here, yeah. So, we have less than a minute left, so let's go ahead and take a look at our openers for today. When we take a look over at Red Team, which is FIFA, nothing but Reavers. Everything are Reavers. When we take a look at Unity, we see quite almost, well, not necessarily the opposite, but we see a lot of galaxies. So we're probably going to have a couple of fake galaxies here that people might think are carrying, some people, but not exactly
1, 2, 3, 4 anvils already dropped.
All right, cool.
Yep, that sounds about right. Pre-match anvils.
Well, with all that said, I'm actually going to go ahead and send it over to Tree's way. And yeah, let's go ahead and get this match going.
What's really interesting to me here is that it doesn't look like FIFA did a bunch of double pull, which means they're not expecting to stay in the air that long, or they're trusting that their pilots aren't gonna. It's interesting to me because there's a number of teams that did double pulls. So in this initial air clash, I guess we're gonna watch what happens after the fact. Because FIFA should have the advantage here on numbers when it comes to air. I mean, Galaxies are strong, don't get me wrong, and if they sky well properly, they can deal with the FIFA Reavers, but... Sorry, I cut myself short here. I was watching some interesting Galaxy fly. They're making this work. And it looks like over here on the eastern side, sorry, northwestern side of Granite Head, Unity has dropped some burster maxes. Two of them, it looks like Quantization, Hobbs, and Ginger Baby. They're out
Soldier
here.
Soldier Hobbs, Quantization, Ginger Baby. There they are. The lone infantry that could with maxes.
It's not a bad idea, though, because this is going to provide flak against the FIFA airball, but FIFA can't stop to air-to-ground them because they've got sky whales on them. Interesting. Looking at the map here, looks like Arazek's pretty much ignored. That's what we were expecting. Bitter Gorge is being flipped in Unity's favor, and Granite Head is a brawl in the middle. Pretty much exactly what we've seen most every match go into up until this point. Unity's locked on point here, though. If you look at their hold, they've got... they're not going to give this up easily. The question is whether or not FIFA's going to try to go for a steal, or are they going to play around them?
All right, so we already have a push at Granite Head Reactor. Looks like Unity is starting to make a push onto C Point from Granite Head, where FIFA is currently held out.
What's going on at Bitter Gorge? It looks like there's an anvil getting dropped in here.
Yeah, there is. Anvil gets dropped in the courtyard.
Whose is this? Is this a Unity anvil? I would assume so. Okay.
Yeah, it's an ant. So far in Bitter Gorge Garrison, we have full Unity control with A, B, and C points flipped for Unity.
Cobalt ant.
And we got a Cobalt Harasser sitting on A point at Granite Head here.
Oh, I think my colors are all messed up. That's my issue. Yeah, I'm sorry. I misspoke earlier. It's FIFA locking down points at Granite Head. I gotta fix my colors. Sorry about that. I'm colorblind. That's my excuse.
All right, if we take a look at some of the gaming happening across the continent right now, we see Bitter Gorge is going through for Omega pretty easily. Granite Head is relatively even, so I'll go ahead and dive right in. We see FIFA on the rooftop of C Point, and they also control B Point as well. And
I think both teams are walking away with something here.
Yeah, they're both walking their way, which leaves Arazak being the only base right now.
There's nobody at Arazak. It's empty.
Yeah.
I am the population at Arazek right now. There's not a soul. But it's interesting here because Unity's saying, all right, fine, you're going to lock it at Granite Head. You're going to take this. Fine, we're taking Bitter Gorge. Because guess what? We're going to come right back to Granite Head. And they can threaten Urgent Pass. Both of these teams can go on the aggressive here. Here's that dancing I was talking about earlier.
So, Bitter Gorge
FIFA
just
takes Granite Head.
And Bitter Gorge went through for... Unity. Now, Arazet Satcom, the timer is going. I don't know if anyone's paying attention to it. People
here
better
we go.
start
Here's a
paying
Reaver.
attention. Yeah, we got two Reavers.
Looks like the
here.
Reavers are babysitting it. I don't know if Unity might just let this go. Actually, I don't think they can touch it. Because Hydroponics already has a back cap.
Oh, well, here's a Steel Rain with 30 seconds left.
Here's Starbug, Sazatsu. Yep, this looks like...
Steel Rain.
Yep.
Here we go.
Hydra's already at a cap. They've got a whole squad here, it looks like. They've got some air-to-ground support, some spawn logic. Yeah.
Unity crashing into Arazat Satcom, but like you mentioned,
they can't do anything. They don't have any lattice.
Yep, they don't have.
They lost.
Yeah, they
They
don't have any
lost their
lattice.
lattice, guys.
Yeah, that timer started.
Oh no.
That makes this absolutely worthless. So.
Oh no.
Yeah, unfortunately, they were.
You got your maxes there though.
Yeah, well, you know, there's your max play. But
Well, yeah, no, I mean, if they had been there in time, that would have been good. They would have had the maxes they could have locked in. But maxes are useless if you don't get there in time.
Yep.
So now the question is, how is Unity going to recover? It looks like they're already cleaning up Hydro, or at least they're in the process of it.
They're trying.
Yeah, Bitter Gorge is starting to go through for FIFA. I mean, FIFA can just pretty much leave Granite Head now. They don't have to commit anything to defending this, and FIFA's coming out as the aggressor.
So right now we're over in Hydroponics Compound. Me and Tree, we're both watching the hallway more or less. Him from one angle and me from the other angle. And it looks like Unity is going to...
Oh, there's zombies. Still a good fight.
Yeah, still a good fight.
Looks like FIFA's rerouting some forces over here to Bitter Gorge. We might see them start to pull out of Hydro just a little bit. It looks like they're pretty confident in the pressure they can apply, so they're moving people out slowly. They still have the overpop at Hydro by a little bit, not by a lot, right? But actually, you know what? Here's a question. Where's all of Unity? It's 40 for FIFA. 40% for Unity.
It's split. So there's split between Hydroponics and Bitter Gorge.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I don't know. Maybe I'm dumb and I don't know how the math, but 43 and 46. Okay, 43, 46. The map's updating. My bad. I'm sorry.
They might have just been flying there. I think they still have some in the air.
Yep. It looks like FIFA's out here holding. They've got air to ground. Bitter Gorge is looking pretty strongly in their favor. The Unity Ant still holding out strong. Is that a Deliverer Ant? It is, so you could start to see more Unity dudes popping.
Yep.
That's a strong way to defend that point, and it's a really smart play that they have it underneath that cover, because it's a really awkward angle for Reavers to come in from.
Unity flipping A and B
But
points.
FIFA's got maxes.
Yep.
Unity can't pull maxes because their spawns are an ant, and you can't do that from. So here we go. FIFA's brought in their maxes. They've got their Logi. They said, all right, fine. We'll just bull over you on point. We don't mind. But wow, Unity came in and wiped it out. What just happened? They had their maxes and they just got destroyed. It's even. What did I miss?
So I'm still over at Hydroponics. Looks like FIFA is still holding strong. They still have the overpop 49 to 42. It looks like FIFA is still just going to hold with no spawns. There's Unity Galaxy dropping on the roof. And they're going to push from this door here by the looks of it.
Meanwhile,
Unity, you hurt my engineer heart. You could have repped that ant so many times. FIFA's making a renewed offense for Bitter Gorge.
yeah, we're over here at Bitter Gorge right now. FIFA has captured A point. They are now looking to advance over to C point. We have a little bit of air to ground happening for FIFA.
Let me spot this Mozzie, please. There's an unknown Mozzie coming in and trying to sweep it out. Who is this? This is Zero Hige, former ECL member years ago, coming in. Looks like he's chasing off the FIFA air to ground. Nope, here he goes. White Lobster staying in, but he chased off one of them.
I mean, we have Willow air to ground over here at Bitter. I mean, he just gets blown up. Never mind.
FIFA getting into this triple stack. That's not a place you want. FIFA is incredibly dangerous to wipe out of these triple stacks. Even having on these roofs, you don't want to fight them there. They've got NC, they've got their scat maxes. Don't do it.
All right, Trulius, what's up?
Hydroponics following a max, making a max push. Unity's making a max push against FIFA. Max is down. FIFA's still holding that server room.
All right, back over at Bitter Gorge Garrison. We are over looking at B point. FIFA is capturing B point, and they are also capturing A point.
It looks like, interestingly here, I'm actually over at Unity's Warp Gate base. It's looking like they're struggling to get their Mozzies. I shouldn't say struggling. I'm not a pilot. I don't know exactly what I'm looking at here. But it looks like they're having difficulty getting over to reinforce Bitter Gorge with air. FIFA is able to play incredibly aggressively with these Reaver.
They're preventing them from leaving the Hex, more or less.
Unity has the spawn room here, but oh man, I'm getting PTSD from the Vikings match. Unity's locked in there, and they're just getting air hammered to hell and back. I still hear it in my nightmares.
Hydroponics got another max push coming in from Unity. Looks like they're going to try and make another run, and they got C4.
Ooh.
Still got one more max up. We'll see what they do with this one. But they're close down. They've got 2 minutes left to make a push.
Sirohige is
There goes one max, and down again.
Sorry, I'm cutting into you here. It looks like Unity's starting to make a push. Sirohige's driving around the base in a bus, but it forced some of the FIFA guys to kind of tip their head back and look at their buff. If they can unseat FIFA's spawns from Bitter Gorge, I think they can take this back. But if they can't, then they need to start thinking about how they're going to make a comeback through either Hydro or Slate Canyon. They're holding. They're running the timer. They're slowing down FIFA's advance better than I think a lot of teams would. But I'm not seeing the comeback. Maybe it's happening here on A. Bitter Gorge is a brawl. Playing in the tournament, I did not like fighting at this base. Planes scare me, and I'm afraid of them, and this is a base where they dominate. But Unity's doing a really good job of chasing away FIFA Reavers with whatever tools they have.
It's just been a back and forth over here at Bitter Gorge in terms of infantry.
Yeah, I mean, this is really entertaining. Unity will take a point. FIFA, 30 seconds later, will come back, wipe the point from them. Unity goes, okay, cool, we'll go take this point instead.
White Lobster coming in there with some air to ground.
So over at Hydroponics, we've had nothing but infantry fight. We haven't seen very much other than Harasser run around a little bit trying to take over some road kills, but otherwise Unity's still trying to make pushes on each door, but unfortunately FIFA just seems to keep kicking them out every time they make a push.
I think that's because most of the vehicle play is happening over at Bitter and around Unity's Warp Gate base. It looks like some of the Mozzies that are trying to get over to help. Oh, there's Galaxy leaving that base right now. Vile Hydra, if I remember right, former Solex member before they became part of Unity. Flying in, he's going low. The Mozzies are able to cover him. Are they going to be maxes? Are they going to drop in with maxes and wipe out the FIFA hold? Maxes?
Here we go.
Maximum units?
No.
They got one max, I think.
Wait.
Two?
All right,
no, there's
5
no
seconds
maxes.
left. Here
What?
go.
There's no
Here we
maxes.
go.
No maxes. No maxes.
No maxes.
No
They
crash.
all die at door
FIFA
3.
capture hydroponics compound.
And
There it
Hydroponics is for FIFA. Unity
Man,
was
that's
unable to
rough.
make that last push.
If you look inside that point room, just two maxes walking into that room could have cleared up so much of that.
Well, unfortunately,
we
hydroponics
know that,
compound. Hydroponics compound goes for FIFA. So now they're knocking on Nexus Omega. And just as we're talking about that, Bitter Gorge Garrison capture for FIFA.
Yep.
Good
I mean,
lord,
we know
this just
it,
got
right? It's been
busted
highlighted.
wide open real quick.
We've seen it in every match. Maxes are going to dominate. You play your maxes, you work around them. But, oh, Unity's still at Bitter Gorge, though. They might have lost the base. They might have lost the spawner. But they're still touching points here. So they've still got a little bit of breathing room. And, I mean, Unity's a competent team. They're going to be able to wipe out spawns that FIFA brings up. FIFA's main strength here is going to be how well they hold these points, and it looks like Unity already got in. Maybe FIFA only sent like one dude. I see Mateus here, best pilot on Connery, and he just died. I hope nobody actually believes me on that one. It's a meme. Don't take me seriously. Pilots do not crucify me.
All right, so I'm already at Nexus Omega. It looks like
if-
Unity is already starting to have to defend. They've got 2 full squads over here.
I think our stat server is botched, because I swear to God, FIFA have better have repaired some maxes, because right now their counter is 0. I want to say that's
survive on their own.
all right. Well, here we see FIFA armor fire team driving along towards the enemy warp gate. And
Volcano dies.
FIFA, a
well,
lot
that's
of pop
happening.
at Blade Canyon.
Unity's back on hydroponics compound.
They're not out of this race yet. They're on the timer at Hydro. They can get off of Omega. Like, you don't need to be there for the moment, okay? You've got the timer running at Slate Canyon. You got 3 minutes to play with. And you're at Hydro. You're putting people into Hydro. You've got the overpop. Go! Get out of your warp gate base. Go defend your bases. It's important. It looks like, when I look at the ground here, it looks like, yeah, FIFA's rolling up with armor. They're definitely preparing to put spawn logistic. But if you stop the Hydro and you stop the Slate Cannon hole,
all that will be for naught.
Exactly. Like, of course you don't want to leave spawn sitting back here, but FIFA's got some Vanguards chilling out, right? Yeah, they're blue, right? Yeah, they're blue team.
Here we see in FIFA my boy Ghoulbot, former TWC Echo Man, right here, infiltrator, making his way onto point in Nexus Omega. However, he is unable to flip the point. Ghoul.
Yep. I mean, Unity's doing a good job. They're putting pressure on Hydro. They're holding it back. Let's see, who do we have here? I'm searching for my Connery lore to see if I can place any of these names. And unfortunately, there's Jordo in a max suit. FIFA's coming ready to push. They're pushing through smalls. Here comes Tan.
Where you at?
I'm at Hydroponic.
All right.
Certified bra moment coming in, pushing the point. FIFA's collapsed on this. They are slamming. FIFA has retaken the point at Hydroponics compound with their maximum unit.
All right, so FIFA has completely wiped whatever had left of Unity. Unity does have some air up there, trying to keep things a little bit more stable. So we do have a bit of an air game going on. We got a couple galaxies leaving Unity's warp gates.
Yep, they're making their way.
Looks like they are headed west.
Yeah, they are heading west. They look like they want to drop over at Slate Canyon Hold. What are they dropping?
Unity's coming in for Slate Canyon.
Yeah. But what are they dropping, though?
Maxes on the spawner.
There's the drop.
All right, there's a drop.
Well, there's
Doesn't look like much.
0619. Yeah. They did some light infantry drop, but if you're gonna pull maxes from Warp Gate, if you're gonna pull gals from Warp Gate, bring yourself some maxes. Give yourself some breathing room. Have, for lack of a better term, have the fat kid in front of you. Take up that damage, because there's Tanker holding that door. He's on the top floor. He's an oppressive force. I don't know. I am kind of disappointed. I thought I would see a lot more max play from Unity than I have been.
They did pull quite a few on the hydroponics hold that they initially started with.
Okay, so
since then, they haven't had much.
Yeah, I mean that's where it's the most important,
Here
right?
we see
Everybody
on
can
Tree's
plan.
camera, we got Unity that they're kind of pushing up onto points, and
C4 after C4.
Looks like Unity guys are coming in from the pass behind. I don't know if they get this in time. It's going to be super clutch. FIFA's already
seconds.
downstairs.
Coming in from behind.
Ready for it.
Here we have the view downstairs. Do they have the man?
And that'll be Slate Canyon.
Don't have the man. Slate
and that
Canyon
also goes
to
hydroponics.
FIFA.
All right, Unity, your back's against the wall. You gotta hold Nexus Omega. FIFA's already there on point. We see the illustrious Tan Bink holding point with his boys. Certified Bro Moment and Sir Jordo in maxes. You have to unseat this. If you were going to go in, Falco, I know you haven't played any matches, but if you were going to try to break this hold against FIFA and the momentum that they've maintained, how are you going to do this? How are you going to break a FIFA hold here?
So I'm going to go call for everyone to go back to Warp Gate, pull maxes, and drop in via galaxies.
Yeah,
that is my.
You don't want to run in and recreate W-Tax match?
No, for the love of God, no.
All right. So
sorry. What happened with the W-Tax match?
Don't worry about it. Unity's coming in with light infantry. They're.
All right. So Unity does look like they're trying to make some sort of a push, but they're not.
They are.
They're not
okay. They've got some guys. They've got some guys going around the back. They've got them. I think they're looking for beacons right now is what they're doing. They're trying to shut down. They're trying to shut down spawn logistics, which, I mean, is the right call for sure. But Unity, Zero Hige coming in. He's got a bus in the back. Here we go. But this FIFA, totally not Delta, might find him. Who knows?
He's being very aggressive with their maxes. They got their maxes pushing up past outside of the doors here.
I see a slight push by Unity towards the east part of the building. They're kind of pushing outside, but FIFA's meeting them halfway. A little bit of a skirmish here. Unity come out strong over here. However, Nidus is trying to defend, and there's stuff going on. There's gunfire everywhere.
It's a mess.
It is
they've got FIFA pushed out pretty hard here. Unity's got them
FIFA
pushed
knows better. They're not gonna just let Unity sit around, shake their hands, count cards, and go, all right, rock, paper, scissors for who goes in the door first. While Unity's trying to figure out what they're gonna do, FIFA's gonna apply pressure. They're not gonna get.
All right, they're inside.
Yeah, they're
Unity's
inside.
Is there a push?
They're inside.
It looks like FIFA might have overcommitted to the backside, but
FIFA
on
rotate.
the flip side, Unity didn't exactly come in as one big wave.
No, they
did not, and they do not have the force multipliers that FIFA does. FIFA's still sitting around with their maxes. These engineers are able to play babysitter, hide behind the Aegis shield, hide behind everybody else, break it up. FIFA just wipes it out and goes back on with their day.
No maxes, no air, no armor, nothing shooting.
Well, okay, what's air gonna do here, right?
Air is not.
You could easily get one. So we've seen quite a few people actually use air to ground out these windows. So it is
the
viable.
windows, but FIFA's not hanging out at the doorways and windows.
And there is the TreeMan camera. Of
Here's
course,
the
no one's forgotten about him. But there is the orbital strike, the sword of Damocles from downtown, coming from Unity, and
FIFA's maxes are like untouched.
Here they come.
Yep.
And they got maxes this time, so let's see what happens.
They got maxes this time.
Here comes Max's. Oh no, Jordo!
Oh!
He's in a car!
Being run over by a harasser!
He's running over! Jordo's in a car causing a hazard!
Sinister!
That's not Jordo, that's Sinister!
Just running him over!
He's been hanging out.
Oh, that was a shame. But they're still trying to make a push.
That was a desolation rooftop move.
For real.
I'm gonna save that one.
Where's Megatron when you need her?
Really?
Well, Unity doesn't seem to be doing too much more currently. They have 3 minutes still. But they're gonna have to try something a little bit different. So we do have them in the powerhouse by the looks of it here. But that's where all the maxes have rotated. For FIFA. So, Astronax, what would you do next? If you were Unity, what would be your plan?
I'd have to check nanites. At this point, we've seen we've seen a fair amount of Unity assets be destroyed. You'd have to check nanites
FIFA
here.
orbital strike.
FIFA counter orbital.
Counter orbital.
Unity being stuck, holding underneath.
And there goes all the bodies flying. What are we seeing here?
Well, that'll give Unity a chance to push, so I don't know if that was actually the best thing to do at the moment, but at the end of the day,
I don't think
Unity
it gives them
isn't.
that much.
No, Unity's not really set up for it. So here comes the Galaxy. Unity's bringing in a Galaxy.
If I was in Unity's shoes here, I would probably pick 2 different doorways to go after, maybe a 3rd one. Just go in. Don't all go in through the same door, right? Because then they can just make the kill zone and just absolutely decimate you. Exactly. C4 is going to break you down.
Yeah.
But if you come in from 2 different doorways, you split the attention of the FIFA guy. That's going to be the most important thing to do. In regards to how this is going, Unity's light infantry is not what's the words here? They're not. It's not that they're not killing FIFA guys, because FIFA guys are dying, but they're getting picked back up.
When you look at the stats, when you
the back line, they're not fighting the black line.
It isn't looking all that close in terms of kill counter. FIFA currently have 1153. Unity currently have 750. So
no, but what you're looking at for the reses is that FIFA has, even with having more kills, they have 360 reses to Unity's 288. They're just playing with their medics better, more effectively. Part of that's because FIFA's able to kind of dictate where Unity does and doesn't get to go, so they're creating that breathing room for their medics to play. But man, at this point,
You gotta do
if I was
something.
Unity,
You got less than a
Yeah.
minute left.
1 minute left. I think at
I would
this
have been
time you have to
wondering,
go.
I would have been asking myself why I didn't do like a big max crash 2 or 3
Yeah.
minutes ago, because now you have just one all or nothing, and nobody ever wants to rely on
And-
that because FIFA
and-
knows it. They're gonna push out and stop you
Nanite
from doing it.
starvation too. I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Exactly.
you know,
if you
you
didn't
have
have
to-
the nanites to do it 3 minutes ago, you probably don't have the nanites to do it now.
yep.
Well, they got Dennis
No, he gets
robot who
taken
died
out.
very quickly.
Yeah.
So I think you have to dig pretty deep into your arsenal. Look into havoc grenades, into EMPs, into flashes, into smoke. Something that's going to give you the opportunity to take a benefit.
Agreed. The other thing
take
is you have
something
to
from it.
realize that, I mean, nobody should have any illusions about what faction is tending to come out on top here. Most of the top teams across all servers are NC. The Scatmax is extremely powerful here.
It is.
It's really good at these indoor holds. It's really good at giving you breathing room. Infantry-wise, guns, even if you have somebody who's maybe less skilled of a shooter, you still have those 200 damage model weapons. NC is just kind of the most forgiving in terms of making mistakes, right? If you overpush with a max, you still have Aegis Shield. Good players will know how to get around that, but when you have a good player also using Aegis Shield, equal level, it starts to get touchy.
Well,
Popped out of my observer cam there.
All right.
well, with that said, and you know what we basically just watched, there goes the Warp Gate win for FIFA, who will be advancing into next week's matchup. Likely to go against Recursion. No? Yes.
Yes.
I could probably predict. It looks like it'll be FIFA
Yeah.
versus Recursion and
Vikings versus Unity.
Vikings versus Unity. That's going to
bronze,
be really interesting
Yep.
to see, because FIFA's already played Recursion once.
They have.
They have, and we know how that story worked out. But times changed. People have had a couple of weeks to figure out the kinks, see where they're going to improve. Unity might have an easier time with the light infantry gameplay against Vikings, because Vikings historically hasn't used as many maxes as like FIFA did here. So maybe they'll have an easier time with infantry, but Vikings air, incredibly oppressive. And Unity looked like they were struggling with FIFA's air, so they have a week to prepare. I'm curious to see what plans Unity comes up with to counter that. And of course, you know, the Viking infantry isn't anything to scoff at either. That's going to be a tough match for them, and I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I am over here, over at Sanctuary, taking a look at the hot mess that is the pumpkin. It is being sodomized in every orifice, as we can see, and yes. Overall, though, I think the match was pretty good. Unfortunately, ended as a warp gate, but that's just kind of how things go. Overall, what did you guys think? Good, bad, meh?
You know, it started off quite good. We did see Unity come back a couple times and capture Hydroponic back. They were able to defend their Nexus the first time around. But unfortunately, at the end of the day, they weren't really using their force multipliers as well as FIFA was. FIFA was definitely using their max game a lot better. They were also moving around the map a little bit better. That could have been just because they had a little bit more air dominance at the time, even though air didn't seem to play too big of a point here outside of the opener.
I feel like I'll make a counterpoint. I feel like it did, because Unity really had to work on getting around FIFA's Reavers. And there were a couple of pushes that I saw from Unity, at least on Bitter Gourd, that they dropped, and they still had to contest with air hammers. So I still feel like air played a strong part here. I just don't think either team really overcommitted to the air like we've seen another team.
Getting at, yeah.
Sorry, my bad. I'm a little dumb.
No, it's fair. You're right. Like, I don't think it didn't mean nothing, but I just meant in comparison to seeing other matches where air dominates the entire match. They definitely had a little bit of an easier time getting around the map. in comparison to, let's say, you know, a Vikings match where all they do is spend their time in the air and dominate it. At the end of the day, Unity just got put on the back foot, and even though they were trying to attack, they just weren't able to really get back after they lost hydroponics for the second time.
Alrighty. Well, with all of that said now, I think we are looking good for the end of the stream. So again, once again, FIFA come out with the win, and we are looking at Recursion versus FIFA, Vikings of Connery versus Unity for next week. I want to go ahead and, of course, give another special thanks to the Bloodraven clan for supplying their leader, Astronox, and this other guy called Trulius. And
he's a dodo, thank you very much. We respect that rank in this place.
And there's also the other guy, his name is Tree. Specifically the TreeMan 01, who made it a big deal to be called the TreeMan 01 last time. So,
of course.
So,
Sure.
with all of us here over in Planetside Battles, and of course those all of us here over in the Bloodraven clan who have been providing you guys the cast for today, we bid you adieu, and thank you for watching tonight's match with us. We'll go ahead and catch you next week in the championship round. Until then, we'll catch you next time. Goodbye.